Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here. We want to welcome you to another day of this our leadership class, leadership program, and the series we are doing is, of course, on leadership. The topic of the leadership series is a leader is a ladder. A leader is a ladder, and the topic of today is how to raise other leaders. How to raise other leaders is what we are talking about today. How to raise other leaders. This is one of the challenges of pastors and leaders. When I went to America sometimes, and I noticed that, sometime in the past, I noticed that even up to now, it's still happening, that a lot of pastors will go to the newspaper house and to the media or to the internet and say, we need a pastor, or we need a leader, a choir master, or we need a Sunday school teacher, or we need assistant pastors, or we need this and that. And they go and be announcing, we are going to pay you this amount of money, these are the conditions of work. So people are busy looking for leaders. People are busy looking for leaders who will be able to sustain their ministry for them. And that is a lot of things that you see all around you. We look at ourselves, we look at our people where we are, and we think, oh, they are not capable, or they are not good enough, or they are not ready, or they are not competent enough to be able to do what we want them to do. If you are a pastor, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Pastors always are in need of leaders. Pastors are always in need of other leaders to help them accomplish their dreams, their goals, and their calling. Especially when you are a young pastor, especially when you are a starting pastor, you begin to say, where can I find leaders? Where can I find choir leader? Where do I find praise and worship leader? Where do I find keyboardist? Where do I find drummer? Where do I find Sunday school leader? Where do I find home group leaders? And a lot of pastors actually have this as their excuse. They say, oh, if not because we don't have leaders, our church is too young, we don't have leaders, I don't have assistant pastor, I don't have administrator, I don't have this, I don't have that. And that is why we cannot do much, because we don't have leaders. Oh, you are so lucky, you have people. Oh, God has blessed you with men, you have men. But let me tell you the truth. If you are a true leader, you will not suffer from that a lot. If you are a true leader, you would have realized one very important lesson. Every true leaders know that their most important duty and responsibility is to reproduce other leaders. If you are a true leader, you will know how to reproduce other leaders. If you are a true leader, you will know how to actually produce for yourself all the leaders that you need for your ministry. So let's say you are a pastor and you are starting a church. In the real sense, everything you need and everybody you need is within your reach. All the people you need to work with, or to that will be your leaders, or who will take responsibility for different aspects of your ministry, they are all within your reach. In most cases, they are sitting in your pews. Or in most cases, they are just around you, but you are not seeing them. The secret of raising up other leaders is the ability to see. The ability to look at a trash box, or a garbage box, a garbage trash box, the garbage box, and see diamond in it, and see treasure in it. Some people will look at garbage, and trash box, and see trash, and they don't see anything. But the ability to be able to see that garbage box, it could be reprocessed to become fuel, to become energy. It could be reprocessed into other materials. The ability to see not just the obvious that everybody sees, not just the certain things, the very clear things that are there for everyone to see, but the ability to be able to see, look at one thing and see something deeper. That is what the quality, that is one of the most important quality of a leader. A leader should be able to not just look, but a leader should also be able to see. There is a difference between looking and seeing. When you look, for example, at a trash box, you see the trash, you see all the smelling things and things that are really there in the physical. But if you are a leader, you don't just look. You must learn to look beyond what is obvious and what is physically visible. You must learn to not just look, but to see something behind the obvious things that you are looking at. See treasure, see gold. For example, when you look at, let's say, you are having a church and you don't have an assistant pastor, you don't have administrator, you don't have keyboardist, you don't have drummer, you don't have home cell group leader, you don't have Sunday school teachers, you don't have children teachers, you don't have anything, but you have, let's say, 10 or 5 people, and all these 10 or 5 people are drunkards or drug addicts or homeless people or just ordinary people that are down and out. So the difference, the very first thing you need to have as a leader to be able to turn the situation around is to be able to train yourself to see not drunkards. You are looking at drunkards, but you are seeing something behind them. You are seeing who they could become. For example, you have 5 drunkards or alcoholics. So instead of you seeing them the way they behave when they are drunk, or the way they look dirty and the way they look very useless right now, you should look and see something that is hidden in them. Even if you cannot see, for example, you could see their potential. You could, listen to them and see what they probably could do. Everybody should be able to see this. This is elementary. Everybody should be able to know how to see what is hidden in any person that you are talking to. If you are talking to the person, just by talking to them, you could guess what they can do. Or you could ask about their story, their history, what they have done in the past, or what they have gone through, their experiences, their skills. Listen to them. When you listen to, but for that you have to have patience. But when you are having the patience enough to listen to them, to clean them up, you will discover that there is a diamond in every trash. There is a gold, a diamond, treasure in every human being. The only thing is that before you could get to the treasure in a trash, you need to get your hands dirty. And that is the problem that a lot of pastors have. They don't want to get their hands dirty. So if you have a trash box full of trash, food that has been eaten, that was not finished 2 days, 3 days ago, the rotten meat, the rotten food, and all the things that are thrown away, and you know that there is gold inside, there is treasure inside. So before you have to pick out all the trash, all the dirt, one by one, before you go and look to find where the gold and the treasure is. It's a dirty process, and it's a smelly process. It could be a disgusting process. This is the same thing you do with human beings. The reason why those 5 alcoholics that you have, drunkards that you have before you, if you will take this, if you go through the process and take the time, just like you would in a trash box, it will take you time to pick out the dirt, and then the other one by one. It takes time, right, for you to be able to pick them until you get to the gold or to the diamond that is there. Same with the man. So you see the man that is drunk, and you have to begin to clean him up. You have to talk to him, and that's it, like being patient, and using, trying to see something positive, just like you are doing with the trash. You are looking, where is the diamond here? The same thing with him. You have to, listen to him, talk to him, love him, hugging, cleaning, and try to figure out what led him to where he is, believe with him, encourage him. So it's like working with a trash box. You have to remove all the dirt. You have to remove all the dirty part, all the smelly part. You have to be patient to walk out. If you walk with the drunkards or alcoholics like that, one by one, patiently cleaning them up, not just physically, but internally too. Speaking words of life, word of encouragement to them, getting to know them, getting to be intimate with them, getting to spend time to, get to the root of their problems. You will discover that one day, just like with the trash box, you will get to the bottom of it, and you will be able to find out where the treasure is. The same thing with those drunkards. You will be able to, one by one, figure out where their treasure is. Then you could discover that one likes children, another one likes music, another one might be faithful, another one might want to be a teacher. So that is how you discover the treasure in people that you thought didn't have any capacity or any abilities in the first instance. But the problem that we have as leaders is that we are not trained to train leaders. We are not used to raising people. What we are used to is having ready people come. Is having people who are already ready, people to come to us with their already made skills, and they're already good, they're already polished up, they're already educated, they're already fine. That is what we want as leaders most of the time. And that is laziness, and that is that is easy. And that is easy, that is straightforward. But it doesn't always work like that. But when you also wait for ready-made products, you cannot really enjoy that product as much as when you work with them, like with the trash box. When you work with the garbage box or trash box, that is, and the process of what it took for you to be able to discover them, to be able to unveil them, wash them, to be able to make them from where they were to who they are now. When you know the journey that it took you, how you were able to change their destiny from this to that, that is what real pleasure is in ministry. That is what will really make you to be absolutely happy. That is what will make you to be absolutely satisfied about your work. And the process of making people to be somebody from nothing, it's one of the greatest joy of a leader. So that is how you begin to develop other leaders. So let's say you have gone through the first stage of cleaning them up. When you clean them up, you begin to discover their gifts, their skills, their talents. Now, let's say even though you see that they have potential to become a musician, or they like music, but they don't know how to play any musical instrument, or they they love children, but they don't know how to teach Sunday school children, or they like to teach, but they don't know what to teach. So that is that is where you need to play your role as a leader. And what you do is that you just need to see their potential. And once you see the potential, the one that has potential for music or that loves music, go ahead and train him. You train your leaders. You send him to a musical school or musical class and let him go through the training. That's the first thing you do. Then after you send him to do the training, then you let him come back and trust him with a place in your praise and worship, so that it will be trusted to practice. It will be trusted to do rehearsal, and to learn, to repeat, and to rehearse those things that they have taught him in the musical school. Same thing with the other person that loves children. If he loves children, he will not automatically know what to teach them. He will not automatically know what to say to them. So you will need training. It's one thing to have the heart, and that's just what you need. You just need the potential. You just need the little bird, the budding process that this person has the potential to do this thing. Apart from the potential, the rest of the thing is already small. It's already little. The thing to do now is not to say, oh, you just have heart for children, but you don't know how to teach. You've never taught that before, and you don't, know what to teach. That is the responsibility of a leader. A leader now must take that person from there and tell him, okay, I see that you love these children. Now, I have a church down the road, or I know a pastor in another city. We are going to send you there to the Sunday school class. I mean, you are going to learn how they do it. You're going to get the material. We are going to send you there for 6 months, or we are going to make you to be going there for some time. And when you learn the skills, you will come back and be repeating here, or you will come back and practice everything you have learned there. And of course, you have to teach them also about self-education. Apart from learning, in the school, they have to also learn on their own. So the same thing you would do with the musical guy, the guy that likes to do music, I spoke about that. The guy that is faithful, that could become as an assistant pastor or a teacher. Find somebody to teach him, to train him. So you spend time, or spend money, or find them a teacher, find them a place where they could be coached or trained. And if you don't have anybody to train them around you, then you could do the training yourself. You could train them in exactly what they need. Teach them, train them, and give them books to read. And it's a process of working with people. So this is how you develop your own leaders. When you ask, if you would just depend on doing announcement, if you just come to church and make announcement in the church, does anybody do this? Nobody does anything, or very few. Only in few instances you have ready-made people who know how to do things. But in most cases, people will not say they don't know. They don't know how to do it. So what you should do, therefore, is to train them. Learn how to train people. Set up training schools. Set up coaching schools. Set up or find people who will be able to organize coaching and training for these people. This is how you raise up your own leaders. You develop them and create a new generation of leaders for yourself. So a leader must know how to raise other leaders. A leader must know how to raise leaders. So this is one of the things you will do. So there are other principles that you might need to pay attention to if you want to raise other leaders. If you want to raise other leaders, one of the principles to pay attention to is this: as a leader, whenever somebody shows up at your door or comes to the church, this is almost human, right? If you have not trained yourself as a leader to be able to look right and to be able to see right, you will discover that the first thing that you will notice will be something negative in another person. And most people are like that. The very first thing they will notice will be something negative in other people. But as a leader, that is not allowed. You are not allowed to see people and see their negative qualities immediately. Yeah, sometimes the negative qualities in those people are so obvious and glaring. They are so big that they are jumping at you. If that is the case, if that is the case, that the negative qualities of these people are so big, what you should do as a leader is try to convince yourself to look for the 1% positive out of 100. Let's say we are having 100 percentage, right? 100. And if there are 99 negative things that you see in this person, it will be difficult for you to find one. If there are 99 and only one is positive, it will be difficult. It will be easier for you just to admit that, yes, there is no positive in this person. You will only be saying negative, 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 negative. But take your time. You've got to learn to close your eyes at the early negative things that you see in that person. Not that you neglect them, Not that you deny and say that they are not there and say you didn't see them. No, you are seeing them, but you don't comment on them. You don't, you are not in a hurry to take decision based on the negative things that you see in that person. So you keep on saying negative, 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 and you just keep on waiting and being patient, not in a hurry to comment, not in a hurry to pass judgment, not in a hurry to condemn, but you are waiting until you see that one quality, that one positive quality that is there. One plus in 90 out of 100, out of 99 that are negative. So, but once you find that one quality or one thing that looks positive in that individual, hang on to that one positive. This is how great leaders behave. Hang on to the one that is positive and pay less attention to the 99% negative. So while you are hanging on the positive, begin to talk. So begin to talk not about the negative, begin to talk about the positive thing you see. So that positive thing you see, begin to praise it. Begin to tell the person about the positive that is in them. Begin to let them know that they have that positive thing. Begin to underline that positive. Begin to magnify that positive tendency that they have. Now, it is possible that that very person that you are talking about might not even believe he has any important positive. He might not even see the positive thing that he has. But you see it, and your assignment must be to magnify that positive thing in that person to the extent that you are convincing him, you make him to see that positive thing that you are saying. You help him to see. You magnify that person begins to believe in himself. That person begins to believe in himself, and that person begins to be more confident about himself. Now, after you have succeeded in making him see the positive thing in himself, you might even need to use other people and attract other people and let them also notice the positive in that person, and to make other people to comment on it, so that this person himself might believe faster in the positive thing that you are seeing in him. So after you've succeeded in making him believe in the positive thing that is in him, then if he, of course, a lot of pastors are always afraid that it will be cocky, it will be proud, it will become, it will be pompous, it will become arrogant, because of if you are praising him and you are telling him about all these positive things. There is a tendency, that will probably happen, but that shouldn't stop you from letting him know about his positive things, and that shouldn't stop you from doing the stage of the work whereby you let him believe in himself. That is necessary for him to believe in himself. Yes, most likely at a point, he is probably going to have so much faith and belief in himself and in that positive thing that he will now begin to think that he's better than the way he is actually. So that is at the point when you will now begin to bring forward these other negative things that you see. So you tell him, but then you have something, you have the soil to stand on, you have the land, the ground to stand on. So you are standing on the ground of the positive thing, and you say, we told you about the positive thing you have. But you see, this positive thing you have, if you could just add this one and change this and change that and change this, not all of them, don't give him all the 99 negative immediately, but maybe one or two at a time. Tell him that, okay, you have to correct this, you have to work on this, but keep on telling him about the positive, but the emphasis now will not be too much on the positive. The emphasis now will be on the negative, not to use them to kill him or to condemn him or to make him feel that he's nothing or to put him down, but just for him to know that he still has to work on those other things. But because he has an anchor that is hanging on, because he has this positive thing that he sees in himself now, it will be more encouraging for him to now tackle the negative things. And especially if you tell him that you are there for him, you are there with him, and you are going to be there to help him to take care of those negative things, and that, you know, even though you have these negative things, but, you know, your positive is strong, you know. So you strengthen the positive. You tell him that the positive is strong. You tell him the positive, and then you begin to take the negative one by one. Now, some of the negative things that these people have, you might not need to tell them one-on-one. Sometimes you might need to tell them if they are too glaring and they are canceling the positive that they have. So you might need to address that fast and quick, and so that they don't destroy the positive things they have through the negative. But all of the ones that are not too glaring, or that are not urgent, that are not necessarily urgent, what you do is that you just make sure that those things form the basis of your training. Now, when I talk about training or teaching, I'm not saying you should go and be preaching on their weaknesses and begin to point, you know, accusing fingers at them. No. Just look at, for example, let's say somebody doesn't like to work. You don't begin to come and say, oh, you don't like to work, you do in the message. No, just come out with a message about the advantages of work, or the blessings of work, or what blessings work will bring to your life. But you are not talking to him one-on-one this time, because you are using the negative thing that you have seen in the people to be the basis of your teaching. But you are not using those, you are not teaching about the negative, but you are teaching coming from the side of the positive, how they could, you know. So you are actually changing their value systems, telling them why they must fall in love with the positive aspect of the things they don't have, and why these positive things could change them and help them to become better people. So, you know, everybody really, somebody might be looking at me now and be saying, these things will not work. Yeah, you don't know people. No, I know people. I tell you that people are made in the image and likeness of God. And since people are made in the image and likeness of God, anything they are right now is like that garbage box that I told you about. It's like that trash box. It's like, you know, the gold and the treasure is inside, small, it's inside, but you have big baggage, you have big dirt, and all rubbish, or on top of that, something, and you don't even know if the thing is at the bottom or is in the middle, or the treasure, but the treasure is somewhere there. The same thing with human being. Human being is, no matter how, you know, bad they are, they have the nature of God in them. Every human being has the likeness of God in them. Every human being has the image of God in them. So that image is in them. If you remove the dirt, if you clean up the dirt, if you remove them and clean the person up, and you keep on digging deep, you will definitely get to the treasure that is in every man. And that treasure is the image and likeness of God. So everybody could change, only that it takes the laborer to be able to work hard and be able to polish the person and be able to clean the person up and be able to keep on digging out the dirt and digging deeper to get to the image and likeness of God. We are all made in the image and likeness of God. So we have, every human being have treasure. Even if they are killers, even if they are rapists, every person has the image and likeness of God in them. If you'll be able to walk with them and you'll be able to have the patience, you know, like God said, that Jesus said that pray the Lord of the harvest to send laborers. If you be a true laborer, you'll be able to raise leaders from any background, from no matter how bad they might have been. You'll be able to make leaders after yourself, just like Jesus was able to make. Thank you so much. And I think that will be it for now. I will continue tomorrow. But meanwhile, I would like you to go and share this message. Share. Tag your friends and family, especially pastors and leaders. And I would also like to encourage you to go and join our mentorship program. That will also help you to become a leader. So go to sundayadelaijablog.com/mentorship. 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 And if you want to come to our next History Makers training, HMT, History Makers training, write to HMT, HMT, History Makers Training, HMT at godembassy.org, HMT at godembassy.org, or you could write a guest at godembassy.org. So I will be happy to have you here. If you want us to be sending you our messages, the short ones, the compressed ones that will not take too much of your data, you could send us your telephone number or the telephone number of your loved ones to the WhatsApp number that you are seeing on the screen now. And just send us their numbers or your number, and we'll be able to send you the messages on daily basis. And if you want to read my books for free, go to Kindle Unlimited. You'll be able to read them for free or buy them on Amazon. But if you want to buy many and you want to buy them cheaper than they are on Amazon, then you need to write to my office, DSS Books at DSSbooks@gmail.com. DSSbooks@gmail.com. Well, nice being with you today. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Hello, everybody. Greetings from Kyiv, Ukraine. This is Pastor Sunday Adelaja saying hi to you. Thank you for watching this program. I have very interesting guests with me today, and we want to talk about the History Makers Bible School in England. And we have a school like that in London, if you don't know about it. And we've already had our first set of graduates. So I want to talk to some of those graduates today, just for you to have a full understanding of what History Makers is all about, and for you to know and to realize that you actually need to be in this Bible school. It's a Bible school that actually demonstrates what is called History Makers. This is a Bible school that helps you to make significance with your life and to become somebody of value, and just not just live an ordinary life like millions and billions live that nobody even remembers that they ever lived. But the purpose of creating this Bible school is that when you finish it, you know for sure that you want to make a difference with your life, and that you want to become a person that is a history maker. And I want to hear the testimonies of our friends today, so that you'll be able to be convinced that one Saturday a month is not something too much for you. Just one Saturday to invest in your future, to make you a history maker, a great person that is making a difference in his generation. Now, Sister
Bumi
Balogun, pleased to meet you.
Bankole
Akinlade, pleased to meet you.
Same here, sir.
Now, how did you come across the History Makers Bible School?
I was flicking through the channels one day, and I got to a Christian channel, and the first thing that struck me was, who is this black preacher? And everybody in the congregation is white. I've never heard about you. I had absolutely no clue.
Yeah, I'm in the wilderness. Yeah.
This was June last year, and I sat back and I watched it, and I'm like, he must have something different, because that's not how it works here in the UK. If my preacher is black, everybody in the congregation is black. And then at the end of the program, you advertised the History Makers Bible School, and I took a pen, I wrote it down, I put it on my table, and then I started having thoughts. I was like, I've always wanted to go to Bible school. I thirst after God. I've been a Christian for more than 15 years. But there's always still that there's something missing. There's something in me that there's something missing. And I was like, but this once a month, it might not actually give me all the things I want from the Bible. I wanted something intensive and core. But I said, well, think about it. It's starting in September. And I put it aside. And then in July, I went for a Christian program, came back at about 11 p.m. It was a Benny Hinn program, to be specific. And then I was eating, and let me just flick through while I'm eating and checking my hot meals. And then I saw your interview on Revelation Television. And then you say talking about church, being outside the four walls, and something just resonated within me that, this is the kind of thing that I want to hear. Let me go and give it a try. And right there that night, 11 p.m., I went onto the website, I registered. My sister was sleeping. I called her. I said, come and hear this. We both registered, and we're like, we need to be there in September to see what it is that they have to offer us. And I have not been disappointed.
What difference did this Bible school create in your life, or bring to your life?
I must say, when I got
the
there
encounter itself.
on the first day, I must admit that I went through emotional trauma.
Are you serious?
I am telling you.
No, I can't believe that.
I was weeping. You know, you took us during the first session, and I was like, where have I been? What have I been hearing? I have sat under different ministers. I have sat under great men of God. And it was like, are you born again? And I realized that I gave my life. I enthroned Jesus. But the teachings I had been hearing had been, just taking Jesus off the throne, and I was enthroning myself without realizing it, because it was all about me, my career, my aspirations. I still had a heart for God. I still thirsted after God. But it just dawned on me that day that, in fact, you're off track. It's no longer about God. It has now become you. And from that night, I got home. I couldn't sleep. I bought Church Shift that night. And I tell you, sir, I read...
Church Shift is one of my books.
Yeah, because, it was said that day that that's a textbook and you must buy it. And I read it all through that night. I didn't go to church the second day because I'm like, to go and do what now? I had to reevaluate my life. And I just thank God for the whole process, because I know that it was God's timing. I wasn't there by accident. I knew that God saw my heart, and God saw that I was just looking for him everywhere. If they call this, let me go. I might get something. But when I came, I said, yes, this is what I have been looking for. I need to change. I need to become Christ-like. I need to go back and work on myself. And the things that we learned in school about church in the society, church being a social organization, not about 40 days fastings and deliverances just for breakthroughs and open heavens. And I realized that this is why people do not want to come to church, because we're not out there engaging with them. We're here and they're here, and there's a missing link. And it was that missing link that we got in the Bible school. You taught us how to go out as NGOs and interact with society, the wisdom not to go on the platform, of the state and things like that. And I must say that I'm a totally different person, and I just appreciate your life, and I thank God for the vision and the calling that he has given to you. And I know that there's so many people in church. I'm not a minister, I'm just a member. And I know that there's so many people in church that have this hunger and that have this thirst. They're sitting there and are like, God, I'm looking for you. I'm reaching for you. And I believe strongly that this is what they need. And I like to encourage people. It's not about denomination. We're all there in the school, brothers and sisters from various churches. But there's one common thing that drives us. We're thirsting and seeking after God. And everybody has testified that, yes, this is the missing link. This is what I have been looking for. This is what Christ called me for, to reach out and touch people, to be a God representative, for people to see me and see Christ, not for people to come looking into the building and thinking that this is where God is, but for me to bring God out to society. And for me now, I'm getting to that point, where it's like, it's not about me. God, you created me. Why did you create me? Where is my territory? Where is my promised land? Who are the people that you want me to reach? What am I supposed to do to reach out to them? How can I touch them? And things like that. So for me, it's been a transformation. And for me personally, I think it's the beginning of my road to destiny, because I think that's what I've been looking for. I haven't found an answer to until now.
Amazing, amazing. You said that so eloquently. So many people I meet and who hear me speak, and I've been to Kiev here, or been to the Bible school, history makers, maybe in London, maybe in France, maybe in New York, they say the same thing. They say, after an encounter with you, it's like we're just getting to know what Christianity is all about. Some of them are actually saying, just like you said, I'm getting born again afresh. And and you'd been a Christian for 15 years before you came to this school. And it's like, what have I been doing in church? And Bankole, what was your experience like? How did you get to know about the school?
Well, I must start by actually just first of all acknowledging that it's a big privilege, being able to have this interview with you. I would have to start from a little bit of a background of where I came from. Just over 10 years ago, I came to know Christ, but not out of a need for anything. I was satisfied in terms of my career. Well, I was in school, I was doing well. I wasn't in need of health. I was mentally okay, physically fit. Everything was fine. So when I became a Christian, then the next question was, okay, what next? Because I thought that coming to Christ would basically take me to my next level of destiny.
I see.
That was my expectation, because the Christians that I came in contact with at the time, particularly my brother-in-law, who actually influenced me, was living a life that basically impacted my life positively. But so I really wanted to make a difference with my life. So shortly after becoming a Christian, for the next 2 years, I was really searching, third year. But then shortly after that, let's say about 4 years into my being a Christian, I came in contact with some of your materials. And it just, was a revelation for me. My eyes just opened, and I could just pinpoint the fact that exactly was what I was looking for. And so I came to Kiev last year. I thought I'd already met with enough of the materials, and I could basically preach some of your messages, teach some of your ideas. But what I saw here was a transformation for me. I couldn't explain it. In fact, it was best experienced than actually explained to anybody. So, looking at the sort of people that came around, number one, the fact that the conference was not the usual teaching kind of conference whereby a minister comes and talks and feeds people that are already fed. It was more of testimonies. And I'm reminded of the idea of basically going to war and basically coming to share the conquers and the Christians coming to testify of what God has done, bringing the exploits into the kingdom. I saw likes of Life Without Excuse. This group of people that are disabled and yet they have a ministry. So I said, what is my own excuse? I don't have any. I mean, my heart was torn apart. I mean, all the sessions were so impactful for me. I talk about how you influence politics, how you influence the social arena, and all the spheres of life. For me, it was too much of an experience for me to just take in those.
You basically saw a new Christianity.
Well, I experienced something new. It was amazing. Even when I share with people today, I tell them that, look, what I'm saying is just a fraction, just like the tip of the iceberg. You need to go to Ukraine to experience this phenomenon that God is doing there. And I've always wondered why in churches in the UK you'd have a black preacher, and they are called gifted people. But when you look into the congregation, we never managed to impact the white community. Mm-hmm. I knew there was something wrong. So when I went to Ukraine, I haven't heard before that your congregation was mainly the ethnic Caucasians there, or the people the people of the land. I understood why. Because most people in our communities are not asking God, they don't need what we are selling or what we are offering.
I see. They don't need our products.
They don't
we have African products in the UK trying to use African products to win Europeans.
Exactly. They don't need money because the welfare state is there. If they are sick, they would rather just go to the hospital. They are fine with that.
Yeah.
So they look at us. They don't see anything that would draw them in.
That will entice them.
Exactly. But when you're able to bring a dimension of the gospel whereby you bring them in, they are transformed. But now you raise them up to such an extent whereby they now become deliverers as well.
They see their own significance.
Exactly. Then it makes them significant. They feel that, yes, I can relate to this. Because even non-Christians, Caucasians, they feel that they want to help people in Africa. They're not Christians, so they feel that they can give something.
Yeah.
So for them, it's about, okay, what can I contribute? Yeah. Not so much about what can I get.
It's about relevance.
Really, exactly, sir. So for me, when I saw that in Ukraine, I thought, my God, I need to register at this Bible school. I came back to London, shared the experience with my pastor who had already been to Ukraine. I told him, I want to go on this Bible school the program. And he encouraged me. I got a few other members of it.
He's a progressive pastor.
Yes.
Your pastor is
Dr. Shola Folalade.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And so he actually encouraged you to come.
Oh yes, he did encourage me. In fact, the church paid for my own fees.
No.
Yes, the church paid for my
own fees. No, that is impressive.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Yeah, because for him, it's about that impact as well. So not just for me, actually, the church paid for quite a few of us.
For you to attend the school?
To attend the school.
No, that is a different kind of pastor.
Yeah. Not because I couldn't pay, but because he wanted to make sure that
he was interested in you making it.
Yes. So he encouraged us to go through there. Anytime I come around, he would ask me, so what are the new things you're learning there? And I'm sure he wanted to come, but his own schedule didn't permit him.
I see. Because actually we have 40% of the Bible school are actually pastors.
Yeah.
40% of the people attending Bible school are pastors. So this History Makers Bible School is actually for pastors first of all. So if you are out there and you are a pastor and you are wondering, maybe I should send some members from my church, you need to come by yourself first, or you need to come with your leadership team, so that as you are getting the revelation, you don't need to struggle to communicate it back to the congregation. So, but there will be so many other people who are your army that will be ready to run with it. But if you just come by yourself and then you have to struggle to get to communicate to them what you're getting from the Bible school, it's going to take a much longer time. But if only your members come and you don't come, because Shola Folalade, for example, he's been to Kyiv, he reads the book, he's a good friend, he's communicates with me all the time. So for him, it's easier. And that's why he was interested in sending his members as well, so that they could join with him, join hands with him, and be able to produce better results. So then, what's your experience of the Bible school?
The Bible school for me was, it was not just, I need to also mention that for me, I knew that I would go in the line of Bible school, but I didn't want to go and learn theology.
I see. You were tired. Everybody was tired of theology.
I mean, there's nothing wrong for me. There's nothing wrong with theology, but I could read it up in books myself.
I see.
So I wanted hands-on experience. I wanted people to come and teach me who had actually lived what they're teaching. Not lecturers that would just teach me from what they read in books, because I could read the same books. Yes. So going to the Bible school for me, provided that platform whereby we had, Pastor Natalia and your team coming in from Kiev, Pastor Tokwe, Pastor Tatiana, just coming in to teach us hands-on.
And these are people who are doing it. They are not just theoretical.
No, they're doing it. And they are not just doing, they're doing it and they are seeing results. So for me, that was the impact of it all.
Now, Bumi, right? Yeah, that's right. What will you tell people who are watching us right now and are wondering, well, I don't really know. Maybe this is working for him in the Ukraine, but we are in England. I don't think this Bible school will give me anything.
I think that would be a wrong notion, because just to reiterate the point that Bankole made, they don't need the products that we're currently selling in the UK.
I see.
Yes.
You mean the citizens, the indigents? Yes.
They don't need the products that we're selling. If you're not well, NHS will take care of you. If you need, if you don't have a job, you have social welfare. Mm-hmm. So they are not need-oriented. They are the kind of people that have the orientation of relevance. So what we need is to engage with them. So the gospel
needs another packaging.
Yes, it needs another packaging. It's not the gospel of needs. It works in a land of poverty where people are looking for money. And you say, oh, he's a God of prosperity. The heavens will open. The showers of blessing. You will draw them in multiples. They will come running. But they're like, hey, I don't need money.
Yeah.
I'm well.
I'm healthy.
If I don't have a job, the government is going to pay me money. So what else can you offer me?
So that's why the gospel of the kingdom that we preach becomes
so we need the gospel of the kingdom. And the gospel of the kingdom is being Christ-like. Yes. How are we going to bring it to them? We need to engage with society. Yeah. How are we going to engage with society? We need to touch the needs of the people. And it's us getting out of the church, of the society. Yeah. Us getting out of the church and engaging with our community. And, talking to people. I mean, when people read Church Shift, which is what I recommend to people who are watching, that they should even start by getting a copy of Church Shift, because that alone will bring a transformation and bring a renewing of minds of people. It's Amazon.co.uk easily. It's readily available. I think it's less than £10 as of the last time I bought, because I've also bought a number of copies and I've given to pastor friends. I've even given to people to read, and they're like, wow, where did you get this book from? I'm like, that come to the Bible school. So I'll say to people that they should come. A lot of people are hungry and are thirsty, and they don't know how to express this thing that they have in them, which is something that God has birthed in them, but they don't know how to push this out and bring it to reality. The Bible school will teach you how to engage in society. How do you want to work in the political sphere? Do you want to work with government? Are you into media? Are you into arts? So they realize that it's not about a revelation where God has called me to be an apostle or where God has called me to be a minister minister, but right where you are, even in your job, in your office, even in your career, that could be the platform that God wants to use. So you come and learn how to use that platform to bring kingdom principles into society and affect, society as a whole. So I would really encourage people to come and see how God can use them in the area of destiny where he has called them.
And I believe
it's just one Saturday a month, and people don't have anything to lose. And I just believe that it is a call for anyone that is watching. I want to say, like it happened to me, that it is not coincidence. It's not by accident that you're watching this. It's because God wants you to be there, and God has a plan and purpose for you. It's all about him. It's not about you. It's how people would see you and see Christ in you, because we are his representative. And that is what we need to bring to the people. We need to go out to them. We need to meet them in their own domain and bring Christ to them. And in doing so, we raise leaders who will bring transformation, because we need to take control of the land. We cannot take control of the land in the four walls of the church. We cannot keep praying and say, God, give us godly leaders. We need to go there. But how do we get inroads into those spheres of society? That is what we learn by getting practical experience from people who are living in this dimension and living in this truth, who have shown us the way, that it's very easy. God has given us everything already. It's not about us praying and fasting endlessly, but it's about us using wisdom, kingdom wisdom, and following kingdom principles to engage people.
It's not that we don't believe in fasting, though. You are actually fasting right now in
Kiev. I'm not, that's not...
And we are praying here as well. But the purpose of prayer here is not about me anymore. It's about his kingdom come and his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What will this Bible school do for pastors? Because 40% of people coming to the Bible school are pastors.
Okay. I would say that for pastors, generally, one of the first things, it would help you sharpen your vision.
I see.
Number one. And for those that have lost the calling, in a sense, because you could be preaching, yet you've strayed from your calling, it would help you get your calling back. In the sense that when you start to listen to what God is doing, and what God has been able to do through the life of the man of God here in Ukraine, if you are humble enough to come and experience it, you will be transformed by that experience.
Well, why do you think that the Bible school will help pastors and churches reach out to the white indigenes of England? Do you think this gospel and this concept could actually reach out and touch the white people in England?
Absolutely, because what we're selling is not working. We already see it in our churches. We have a black minister and the whole congregation is white. But it teaches you how to engage with your community. And that is what we need at this time. We are not engaging with the community. So that missing link between the church and society is what people will come and learn about. And it will help us to reach out to people. And when we present Christ to them, and we're not selling them needs, and we're selling them Christ-likeness, they see him in us. They see us as God's representatives, to the world. I believe that we would draw them, not necessarily draw them in bringing them to church, but raise up leaders, replicate what we have learned, so that we have a mass in the land, and thereby we can reach out to all the spheres and take control and bring God's kingdom onto earth as he wants.
So confirm what you were saying. Yeah, I was actually one of the students from the Bible school, Pastor Debo, who began to practice what he learned from the school, and as a result is having a large number of white people coming to his church now.
Yes, that's
Did you
right.
hear the story?
Oh yes, that's right. He started to feed the homeless. Okay. And ordinarily people who would not come to church have started coming to church.
And they are British?
Yes,
I
they are.
have another testimony along. One of our members that also came in from our church, one of our senior ministers, also sponsored by the church, again, because our senior pastor is into getting people, to get getting people empowered. So he started a drug project called Freedom. And from that drug project, he's been going out there and touching lives, and we're seeing transformation, even in our little community there.
Are you serious?
Yes. We were here together in Kiev last year. He went through the program with us at the History Makers Bible School. And as soon as we finished, he launched out the ministry.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So you will definitely recommend people to come to the school?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Oh, definitely, definitely, definitely.
What will you say about Kiev?
I think it's difficult to explain it. People need to experience it, but I'll try my best. I came in April for the anniversary, and I've come again. And in April, I was wondering, these people have just been Christians 1 year, and look at what they've done. And you're just blown away. And you really begin to see what Christ called you to do, meeting the needs of the people. And we're not talking about one group, two groups, but we see multiple platforms, people ministering to people who are drug addicts, people ministering to prostitutes, people talking about HIV, people going into political spheres and, going into parties and standing up against the government and, putting down their feet for righteousness and trying to impose kingdom principles. So it was an eye-opener. And for me, it was a revelation that you need to go back and work on yourself. You need to become Christ-like. You need to get things in proper perspective. You need to be totally sold out for the kingdom, because it is not about you. It is about God. And the fact that my life must make a difference. It was a challenge. If they can do it, it's the same God, that we're serving. And, it's the same understanding that these people have. So what have I been doing? Sometimes, for many people, we feel when we share our thoughts in the Bible school, we feel, man, we have been sleeping. But we thank God that we have found awakening, and, it will go forward.
What did Kiev do to you?
Well, I think for me, when I first came to Kiev last year, I met the most hospitable people that I've ever seen in the church. So I actually thought in my mind that, well, Ukrainians must be very hospitable. Only to find out this year as a revelation that it is actually what Christ has done in their lives, that actually transformed.
Ordinary Ukrainians are very different.
I hear so, and it's still hard for me to believe that. So apart from going out there to do kingdom work, in their own personal lives there's transformation. They are serving God and they are serving man. In that sense, So for me, that's on one side of it, and coupled with what Bumi had said as well. When I first came, like I said, my life was so much transformed. I just knew that this is an opportunity of a lifetime. So here I am again in Ukraine, Kiev, just basking in the same glory and taking in all that I can in this time.
Well, our time is fast running out. I can't believe it. And why do you think people watching you right now why do you think people in England need to come? Let Pastor Sunday stay in Kiev. Why should he come to Saturday Bible School? And why do people watching need to come to the school?
Well, I will start by saying that last year I told a few people about the Bible school. About 4 or 5 of them came with me to the Bible school, and they haven't been disappointed. So I know that if you come, your life will be transformed. And perhaps if you are serious about your Christian life and you want to make a difference with your life, you may want to consider coming to the Bible school. Because this is new. I've read books, I've listened to tapes and materials, but this is a new revelation from God. And if you want to be a part of it, you need to come and be blessed by it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bankole. And on this note, we finish this particular program. And you could just go on the website. Please go on the website and register for the Bible school. It's just one Saturday a month, and you can afford that. And tell your friends about it. It's a new chapter in your life and destiny. And it will be a joy for me to meet you there. May the Lord bless you now. Bye. If you have been watching our videos and maybe you enjoy them, maybe you don't enjoy them, but still, we need you to help us spread the word. And for that to happen, we only need you to take 5 little steps. Please help us spread this word by liking the video. Then, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We also need you to press the notification button, and the way to do that is to click on the bell. You see the bell there? Click on it. Then, of course, leave your comments. Let's know what you're thinking about each video. And finally, we need you to go and share the word, share this video on your Facebook timeline, on your Instagram, and every other platform that you have. All right? Let's win the world for Christ. Thank you so much. Peace.